Hi, it's V again. I'm here to talk about prayer. When I first came to YouTube, one of the first videos that I saw was done by a GII video. I've got a link if you want to look at it, but it's got about 1 million views, so you've probably already seen it. It's a rational look at prayer and how it works. But before I saw this video, years before I saw this video, I had my own experience with prayer, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about it. When I was about 5 or 6, my mom took me to a nursery for the first time. Not like the baby nursery, but the plants and flowers. And I had a wonderful time just running around, climbing on the bags of fertilizer, scooting around in the flatbed carts, and I picked a pretty little bouquet. This big guy in an apron comes over and grabs me and tells me I'm stealing. And I said, I didn't know. I didn't even know anybody could own flowers, so I can put them back. He says, you can't put them back. You picked them. They're going to die, and you're going to go to hell. I don't remember if there was a big deal made about it at the nursery about the flower picking and the stealing and the telling a little girl she's going to burn in hell for all eternity. But I remember I hadn't really thought about the fact that I was killing the flowers by picking them either. When we got home, I put them in some water, and I asked my mom about hell and God and everything. She'd raised me without any religion. She wanted me to figure things out on my own when I was old enough to understand things, something I've always been grateful for. But she could see my little imagination was going wild over what hell was, and I never got anything close to some of the crazy stuff that other people have thought of. So she told me about, some people believe in God, and some people pray, and some people believe in heaven and hell. And so I was definitely not wanting to go to hell, so we stayed up and she helped me pray all night long. Dear God, I'm sorry about the flowers. I didn't know I was stealing. Do you think you could find it in your heart to not hurt the flowers and maybe not send a little girl to hell? Please? So I prayed all night long with all my little heart that I wouldn't go to hell and that God would save the flowers. Lo and behold, the next morning, those were some nasty looking flowers. So I just thought, well, shit, that was a waste of time. Being a resilient little kid, I got over it pretty quickly and got on about the business of growing up. I never really did find a religion that works for me, and it's not because I was mad at God for not saving the flowers or anything. It was more the supernatural mumbo-jumbo that turned me off, and they all seem to have that. Walking on water, I mean, come on. Not unless his feet were wearing floaties. Now that I'm older, I look back on that episode, and I kind of have to question the motivations, not of any supreme being or even a system that is set up for it, but the motivations of the people who want to scare a kid so bad that they'd spend their night wasting time. I mean, I think it would have been more productive to bang my head against the wall. I mean, at least then there would have been some bleeding, some bruising. Maybe even I would have gotten to see an emergency room a few years early. I mean, forgetting the fact that there are thousands of different gods to choose from, and just taking prayer in its simplest form, there's really two options. I mean, either there's some master of the universe up there that may or may not be listening, that may or may not muck up his whole plan to intercede for you on some trivial little thing, or there isn't, and you should just bang your head up against the wall. Might be more fun. But get some health insurance first, especially in this country. I just think that people who believe in the power of prayer have no concept of how big this universe is and how tiny and insignificant we are, all of us on this planet. I mean, in the words of Carl Sagan, we're just a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. And we don't have a lot of time here, comparatively speaking. So sitting around thinking thoughts at some invisible being just seems to me like the biggest waste of time, when you could just be going out and trying to get these things that you're praying for yourself.